Did you know that some of the wealthiest people in the world come from families that have been rich for generations? From the Lees to the Ambanis, generational wealth has enabled some families to maintain their status as the richest for centuries. In today's video, we'll be discussing one such family who significantly shaped the economic landscape of many countries. We won't keep you guessing anymore. We'll be discussing the Rothschild family. So stay tuned as we dissect their past, present, and the future. The Rothschild family is said to be the most influential banking dynasty from the European region. That is till date famous for holding the biggest financial houses. The empire was built in the late 18th century by Mayer Amschel Rothschild in Germany, which became even more successful when his son stepped in. And this family believed that the key to success is to keep the business running in the family. They started small with trading goods and foreign exchange, and later grew the business with massive investment that helped them develop their solid reputation as the pioneers of international finance. They were involved in every field of finance, from banking to venture capitals and even insurances. And these businesses were spread throughout Europe, with branches in London, Paris, Frankfurt, and basically every major city in Europe. To expand the business, Mayer sent his sons to live in London, Vienna, Paris, and Naples, and one stayed with him in Frankfurt. This way, the family as well as the business were spread out all through Europe, making them the first ever bank to have linked banking that transcended the borders. The major part of their growth was during the French Revolution, where they were handling the payments from the Great Britain and even lending them help during their time of crisis. This later helped them secure a big bank when they got to do gold and silver refining for the Bank of England and the Royal Mint. The Rothschild family was big on giving back through philanthropic work. They made charitable contributions to the Jewish community in Frankfurt and then later expanded them to London and Paris. Many years later after the war, the Rothschild family made major contributions to support the formation and development of Israel. But despite the philanthropic work, it is said that the major part of their wealth came from lending money to different governments to fund war operations. Another controversial and rather patriarchal aspect was how the succession in the family worked. Upon dying, Mayer Rothschild left strict instructions in his will that the family title and properties would only pass through the men in the family, which meant no direct inheritance for the women. How sad! Weirdly enough, this encouraged a lot of inter-family marriages. Yikes! So much for keeping the fortune in the family. It was in the 20th century where tensions grew due to wars, family rivalries, and political conflicts that eventually led to their downfall. They didn't have enough male heirs to take over their widespread businesses. The French Vichy government seized their branches, and the Nazis confiscated their art and assets worth billions of dollars. After surviving loss and sorrow for about 2 centuries, they were finally compensated when a portion of these stolen assets was later returned to the Rothschild family, and their holdings were unified once again in 2008. Today, the family's wealth is divided among the many descendants and heirs who are still spread out across the globe now. They continue to remain in the financial business, and according to recent news, they are now set to take full control of an investment bank in Paris. In the financial sector, they remain relevant with their financial advisories like the Rothschild & Co., which is a one-stop solution for merchant banking, investment banking, as well as wealth and asset management. In fact, their top holdings include names like Apple Incorporated, Chevron, and even JP Morgan. Besides that, they're also involved with ventures in real estate and energy mining. They have brokerage and residential advisory firms, and they also provide extensive real estate loan services. And for the energy mining business, not much is known to the public knowledge, except the fact that they're still in it. On top of that, the family is also famous for owning multiple wineries worldwide, like the famous Chateau Lefty Rothschild in France, or the Opus One located in Oakville, California, to name a few. Much like the past, the Rothschild family is also running multiple non-profits, like the Rothschild Foundation, that supports art and heritage, as well as education and social welfare. The foundation makes donations to charities worldwide, and also awards grants and scholarships to give an equal opportunity to the underprivileged. Well, to say what the family is exactly worth now would be difficult, as they are very private about things now. But we can still try to name the richest of the Rothschild clan now. Oh, and in case you didn't know, the famous billionaire Jeff Rothschild from Facebook is not related to the family. But yeah, we get it. His name makes it a bit confusing. And now, on to the real Rothschild billionaires. Starting with the first name that we have for you, Nathaniel Rothschild, who's worth a whopping $1 billion, and according to New York Times, may become the richest Rothschild in the world, as he's rumored to be in line for $40 billion inheritance. Then next up, we have James Rothschild, who's a businessman working for the British branch of the Rothschild Asset Management. He's worth somewhere around $1.3 billion and is married to Nikki Hilton. Then we have Ariane de Rothschild, who's inherited an enormous fortune of $1.5 billion from her late husband Benjamin de Rothschild. Now, do you remember Nathaniel? Well, yeah, his dad, Lord Jacob Rothschild, is the second most wealthiest of the family. He has the Lord title, political connection, and is worth a good $5 billion. And finally, we're ending our list with the richest of them all, the famous adventurer and environmentalist, David Mayer. He has an estimated worth of $10 billion, which largely comes from his family inheritance. So, one thing is for sure, that despite the many ups and downs, the Rothschild family has somehow still managed to keep a hold of their fortune. And it sure looks like they will be set for the next century or two. Talk about generational wealth, am I right? If you liked the video, give us a big thumbs up and tell us in the comments below what part of the video blew your mind. If you want to stay up to date with our future content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.